Why do I always look? Oh. Hi, everyone. It is me. Sailor Pluto, Tessa here. And today I'm going to talk about how I became the fighter, how I became the keeper of time and room. Which is, at the end of the day, it is kind of, weird that I became the keeper of time and room. First off, the first thing I do want to tell everyone is that being a keeper of time and room, you don't get a lot of time to yourself. Or do you? I mean, here I am watching over the gate of time and room, yielding for some unwanted foe, doesn't have the right to go into the upcoming or go to the past to show up. And most of the time, it doesn't happen. Well, first off, a lot of folks are going to say, well, it did happen with the Black Moonkin going from the past, going from the upcoming, which was there now, back to the past, and a starship / time ship. It was both things. And I don't have the answer to that. The show doesn't really give an answer to how they could go back in time. The only answer the show gives to how Rini, Sailor Mini Moon, Small Moon, Little Moon went back in time because she learned how the time key worked. And that I gave to her, and that she learned how the time key worked. And that's the only way that, she went from the now to the past to the now. Her now was their past, Anyway, the also other thing is that, well, then who made me the keeper of time and room? Well, that would be God, or God Almighty. He's the one who made me the keeper of time and room, And I know some folks are going to be against that. They're going to say, oh, well, and Sailor Moon Crystal or Sailor Moon Hearst, the two that following, they're going to say, oh, it was Queen Serenity that did it. Well, Queen Serenity was doing it in the behalf of God and the behalf of Jesus. But I was truly answerable to God and Jesus when it came to keep watching over the door of time and room, So there were other times where it was said it was forbidden for me to go back in time. Or at least it was, unless I got someone else to take my stead. They're like, well, you came back in Sailor Moon S, the two diff following, and you came back in Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, which was the fifth and last following if you're going by the Toei work and the Viz work out there. Well, it was said in Sailor Moon Hearst that Diana took my stead during that time. Now, that's what it said in Sailor Moon Hearst. But as far as what it said in the other Sailor Moon, your guess is good as mine. I would think that Diana took my stead. So, that's what I believe, how it happened. At least that's what I believed, how it happened. Now, at the end of the day, it can be truly boring being the keeper of room and time. Being a keeper of room and time when you, they'll say, well, what do you got to do if you got to take a piss or take a shit? Well, that's kind of hard because someone might say, do it in your longs. Do it in your shorts. Do it whatever. Well, sorry for that burp that came out there. Well, the show never really talks about that. So, your guess is good as mine. So I have this time staff that's more like a key shaped into a staff. Which at the end of the day, both Irwin Toy and Bandai both made. But Great Eastern did not. sadly, the seller that we bought this from lost that. Sadly, when I came along back around 2012 YL, this didn't come along with me. So yeah, and they say that it was that God and Jesus forbid me to stop time for whatever ground's sake or why. So the only time I ever did was when we were fighting the heart snatchers, or whatever these outsiders were from another world, which worked for, for King Overling 90, and I stopped the Windy Bird from fully blowing up, so Sailor Uranus, Sailor Skyworld, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld could get out before before the Windy Bird blew up. And by doing so, I said I'd be handicapped by doing it. But then I come back later on to let Rini know, Sailor Small Moon, Little Moon, Small Moon know that her friend Ataru was back, and that God and Jesus brought her back and gave her a new life to start her life over again. And then I was gone until the 5th following, though. I mean, I first show up in the 2nd following for, first when Rini's in a nightmare, and they got to go in her nightmare to help her fight the Grim Man, who is a fiend that, the Dark Moonkin sent after her. And that was really the first time. And then when they went back, when it went to the now, they're upcoming, her now, to fight the Dark Moonkin, that's when they met me as well. So, yeah, I'm like the first Elder Sailor Keeper that shows up long before the other two do. Now, I know there's going to be someone out there, in this film that says, oh, well, don't you know Pluto or Underworld isn't a world anymore? It's still a world, a small world, but still a world. If you like this film, then follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Don't forget to watch the film that Sailor Ernest made earlier this morning over here. Don't forget to share and playlist and thumb up this film. And if you're not a follower, do so by hitting that ringer and bind to know when the next upload, live stream, or short's been done. I, Sailor Pluto, Sailor Underworld, Tissa, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.